Welcome to Quick Shots, a short format traditional archery podcast, where we introduce you to some of the world's most influential traditional archers, and occasionally, some random dudes.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Quick Shots. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification. We upload a new episode every Wednesday, and they just keep getting better and better. If you or someone you know is an interesting trad archer, leave a comment below. We'd love to get you on the show. If you want to support the channel, head on over to the tradlifearchery.com. We have toques, we have hats, we have mugs, just a bunch of stuff over there. And anything you buy goes to support this channel. We do really appreciate it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Quick Shots. My name is Mick Chambers. I'm here with Jeff Ogilvie. Hey Jeff, how are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm really good, man. Thank you very, very much for joining. We've been trying to set this up for a bit, but you've been off killing it this year already. So you've had no time for anything.
Well, like I said, I don't know about killing it. I've had a few decent shoots so far this year. You know, you practice. Sometimes things work out. Sometimes you don't. Anybody that's competed anywhere knows how that goes. You know what I mean? So just had some things go my way so far.
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few people say that.
Dude, I'm so impressed. Like I'm at a border of jealous of you because I think we're roughly the same age, if we're not the same age, and you are just like, you're doing so well. And I'm telling you, I'm trying. I just don't know what the secret sauce is. Yeah, I'm really happy for you. So I'm a bit jealous. Why don't you talk us through your origin story? So we'll get into the Barebow and your and how you're in Barebow now, and that and then we'll talk through your successes this year. But what's your origin story? Where did you start off in archery?
Well, my first bow I got was a compound bow, probably like a lot of people. I don't know, maybe there's a lot of people that I don't know that started out with a recurve, but I used my high school graduation money, bought my first compound bow. And it was, and like I said, the local sporting goods stores, they sold bows, and I just basically picked one out to look cool. I didn't really know anything about draw length or draw weight or anything, and I got home, I could barely pull it back. When I first started, I maybe shoot 15 arrows, be wore out, and it just kind of got me hooked, and all I did for quite a few years was probably the first 5-6 years was hunt. And I didn't even have a lot of success. I got shots, but I just couldn't hit them, but it was still fun. It just kind of got me hooked, Before that, I shotgun hunted here in Illinois. We just shotgun muzzleloader hunt. And like I said, I shotgun muzzleloader hunted for a few years before I got that bow. But bow hunting's definitely more fun. It's definitely more challenging, and plus you have a lot more time to go too. So
Yeah,
like I said, I started off with a compound, and it's probably just, I'm guessing about 5 years ago I got my first recurve, and I just kind of got hooked with it from day one.
So what was that bow? What was your first recurve?
Very first, the first recurve I got, I couldn't really hit much with it, but I found a old Bear Grizzly, and I'm talking like one of them early mid-70s models, in a pawn shop. I was smart enough to be able to read it. It said 55 pounds. I'm like, that's probably too much, but it was like $100. I'm like, if it don't work out, I'm not out a ton of money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it didn't take me long to realize I needed something lighter. Starting out with a 55-pound bow was not good, at least not for me. I would hit a few good shots and quite a few not so good shots. But it was, like I said, it was fun enough. I mean, it was fun to shoot. And then, like I said, after that, I kind of ended up getting a ILF bow and then dropped a little bit of weight. I think my first riser was a 21-inch Hoyt Excel riser, and then some Axiom Plus limbs, just a cheap setup. But man, it was fun. Just that's when I kind of started hitting a little bit, when I dropped down to 40 pounds. that 55 was rough. I mean, just
That's funny. So yeah, I know what you're saying. And we'll get some people that'll be listening and be like, 55 pounds, that's nothing. I shoot that all day long, but it really does make a difference. And I love hearing that from you. I love, actually, that's a good part of the story because, what I try and do on the channel too, on the Archery Geek channel on YouTube, is just educate people that, go down in poundage, get good at that poundage. And so that you don't, induce target panic and all other kinds of crazy stuff. But so what's your current setup? What's your current bow setup?
I probably about that second or third week of January, I got a Gilo GT27 riser. I've got some older Win and Win RCX 100 limbs, and they're older limbs, but they're good limbs. I mean, carbon foam limbs. That was one of their top ones back in the day. And I got a Spig ZT rest, just a cheap rest, but it works. And I got a biter plunger, and I just really love that riser. I don't know if it's just a riser, a combination of riser and limbs or what, but it's just been working out so far this winter. Yeah.
I don't usually get to too much detail, but are you shooting? And I'm just curious, are you shooting a high grip or a low grip? I mean, coming from compound, what's your preference?
What? It's kind of funny. I'm honestly not sure what it is. A buddy took it off a bow he wasn't using, gave it to me. I've had a couple people look at it, and it's either a medium or a high, and that's just what I've got. So that's what I shoot. I don't know if I'd like a low better because I've never tried one. It is a Jaeger, like a Jaeger 2.0 or 3.0 or something. It's either a medium or a high, and I, I
What,
just
what's what's your Aero setup right now? What are you using?
Uh, for indoors, I shot those Carbon Express Maxima Pro recurve RZs, 500 spine, full length, 100 grain glue in point, and I either had excess wings on them, and then right before indoor nationals, I just switched to feathers. I've been goofing around with 5-inch feathers, and I shot the excess wings really good, but it seemed like I got a bad release or whatever, those feathers covered it up a little better. So,
That,
I mean, it made the bad stuff not as bad, I guess.
that's right. Tighten them up. And you've had incredible success indoor this year. I mean, just fantastic. NFAA indoor national champion recently, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff. Rushmore Rumble, second place,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Brilliant, brilliant. Indiana State Championship, Masters national record
Yep.
for the 25 meter and 18 to 25, right?
Yeah. There was a 18 and 25 meter combined
Yep.
national record, and then the 25 meter national record. So yeah, things went good for me.
Yeah, congratulations.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You know what? It's just so amazing. I love to celebrate people when they do so good. And you're in the master's class. So can you tell us a bit about what that means to be in the master's class?
Well, USA Archery, now I'm sure somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. There is actually a master's 50 plus, and then 60 plus, and 70 plus, but with everything being reduced this year and COVID, anybody over 50 that wanted to just shot in that 50 plus class. So, I mean, I was, like I said, I shot against that second day. I was on the bell with Rick Stonebreaker at Indoor Nationals, and I'm guessing Rick's 70 or close to it.
I think
You
he tells
know.
people 55. I think he tells people 55.
Okay, well,
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I haven't had Rick on the show yet. I mean, he's one of the guys I got to get on here. I
I
absolutely love him.
I think he would be fun to do one with. First time I ever met him in person. He's funny.
Is
I
he a
had
good
fun
guy?
shooting with him. Yeah, basically, like I said, now like I said, the NFAA at the Indoor Nationals, that they had everybody in that class too. It's NFAA actually calls it seniors.
Okay.
Below 50 is adults. And like I said, I had Spanky,
Yep.
Rick Stonebreaker, and Ben Rogers. I believe them was three that was right behind me. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was close. And same deal. They threw everybody in the same class there because Barebow recurve being fairly new in the NFAA, they don't have all the extra age divisions like other classes. Other classes have youth, young adult. It's called like silver senior, master senior. I can't remember. They got all kinds of different age classes.
What I was trying to get at too, and what you're kind of explaining really well is that there's a lot of classes out there. So whatever, if you're listening to the podcast right now and you're seeing this, there are a lot of classes you can shoot in. So, I mean, a lot of times, okay, so you're involved. Here's one of the things that I'm finding hard right now for people to understand is how the organizations are structured, right? NFAA versus USA. Um, and then, what are the classifications? But you can just go out onto a website and you can see all the different classifications. The point is that I think once you get there, you can find a class that you fit into, right? And I know because of COVID, it's reduced now. It's kind of everyone over 50 go in this class. But you're also in Barebow recurve. So you're in
Yes.
the Barebow recurve class, right? So you got to fit through that ring, and you're shooting the bow that you just told us. That's that bow that you just mentioned. I mean, I think there's people with setups that are thousands of dollars more, and they're not winning these titles like you are. So I was really excited to get you on the show and talk to you and just kind of understand what you're doing.
Well, that's like I said. I'm sure there's stuff out there that costs more than what I've got. But before I got that Gelo riser, I was shooting an SF Forge Plus riser. $90 lens, shot some pretty good scores with that too. So I mean,
Yeah.
it. I'm not gonna say equipment don't help any, but you know it. Like I said, you can shoot good without spending a fortune if you're just starting in it.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't have to spend $1,000, $1,500 just starting to shoot good. Just
No, that bow, like I think that's the first time ever I came up against I actually went to um, not like a club shoot, and there's the old guys walking around, they're kind of wise and they're, and maybe I think I was complaining or something like, oh, I wish I had a better bow or something like that. And, I had one of the old guys come up to me the same way he's come up to like a million other people. And he said, look at son, that bow shoots better than you. So,
yeah. Well, like I said, not. I got one more little funny story, and I'll quit interrupting you. Just um, the first, like I said, that first riser I had was that Hoyt Excel, and then $90 Axiom Plus lens, and I had a big long bolt and some washers on it for quote stabilizer weight, whatever you want to call it, an NAP center rest flipper rest. I took that thing down to the ASA shoot in Foley, I think in 2017. I got third place with it. So you know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
mean, I don't, it's not like I get podium every time I go, but I'm just saying it just shows that you can shoot a cheap bow well if you put some time in practice.
well, let's walk through that because I agree, I guess, or I don't necessarily agree with you. And I'm not trying to be argumentative, but what I
Oh,
think is,
that's fine.
I think, yeah, and I'm just being facetious a little bit. I'm going to disagree with you because I think it depends on how you practice, right? I mean, I put in a lot of
Well,
practice. I've come to the conclusion I'm probably never going to be as good as you, and that's okay with me. I'm okay with that. But I want to know what you do that's different than, what some of us do that we're not maybe doing right. So do you have like a secret or something, or do you have like a way that you practice that gets you on that podium?
Well, I don't really know that it's a secret. I could probably dig around on my phone and find some old videos of that bear recurve until I videoed myself. I didn't realize how bad it was. Yeah, I was snap shooting. It was my release hand. My release hand was going everywhere but back. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
it you can learn a lot of stuff by videoing yourself if you don't have somebody to maybe help you. You know, I don't really know that there's a secret, just things I tried to really work on that a guy told me to work on when I first started. He thought I was dropping my bow arm just a little bit, which after videoing I was. Like I said, my release hand, it was just terrible. It was flying out away from my face and down here. It might be over here. Well, now I just kind of try to just come straight back. And I mean, if you watch anybody that's doing good, I mean, their hand comes straight back for the most part. It's not going out here. I don't really know. I got a secret. And like you said, I shouldn't have said just practice, practice, practice. Because if you're practicing wrong,
Yes.
right, that's not going to help. But
No, you get frustrated. A lot of us get frustrated. One of the keys to, having a podcast and having some shows on YouTube and just even you on even what you're doing on Facebook and Instagram, it's important that we see other people have success and we're happy for their success, but it doesn't frustrate you. We want to keep people in the sport as long as possible. And I think that's a great story. I think you've already given us some golden nuggets here with just coming in from this low cost bow and being successful. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be here. You just got to practice. But yeah, you got to practice right. And I heard you say that you had an influencer, someone say to you, "Hey, these are a couple of things that you need to look for," and then you were able to go forward.
yeah, and it was actually a guy I stumbled on an archery talk in the traditional section. His username was like Viper One, I believe he wrote
Yeah,
that.
I
But
remember. I
shoot,
know who Viper One is. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's who I was sending videos to. I believe he's in New York City somewhere.
No
I
idea
just
who that dude is, but he spends like 90% of his time on that. on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, he sure got me going in the right direction because I had nobody around me. There was, I'm in southern Illinois. Was several Barebow shooters up north. I'm Jason Westbrook's up there, but we're talking 5.5 hours. I couldn't just get in the car or go find help every weekend. So I sent I sent him quite a few videos back and forth, and so that's the two things he pointed out most that I really worked hard on, and seemed like it helped. So,
That's good. So why don't you, if you could do us a favor, walk through your entire process of your shot cycle for me.
oh gosh, I've always told everybody I don't think much, and they think I'm joking, but I don't. I just kind of do it, but I've probably got way less steps than everybody else. Maybe I just do the stuff, don't quote think about it. Kind of like everybody else. I mean, I kind of make sure my stance is right. That I probably got like a slightly open stance. I mean, it's not like a 45-degree angle to the target, but I'm not totally square to the target. And of course, I'll get a hold of the grip, make sure my grip feels right, and then I'll make my crawl, get a little pressure on the string, make sure the grip still feels right, and then I bring my kind of like bow arm up to the target. I just kind of point the bow at the target, not really aiming, but then I draw back from there. I don't really draw while I'm coming up. I just and like I said, like I said, after I get anchored, and I'm kind of like everyone else. It's not like my arrow doesn't stay right in the middle of the 10 ring. It floats around a little bit, and I just kind of just sit there and hold. And I mean, the shot just goes off. I don't know how to say it other than the shot goes off. That might sound goofy, but I don't really think let go now. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. Like I said, that's not real detailed, but
No, actually, that is actually detailed. That is really good. And it's not an uncommon story, right? In your level of shooters, that sort of the arrow just goes and you're like, oh, I hope it hits a 10. Because you've been aiming there. Do you check do you check string blur or anything like that? Or your
I be honest with you, I don't. I hardly ever look at it. Maybe I should, and maybe I'd score a little bit better if I did. But I just like I said, when I raise my bow arm and everything, I try not to move my head at all. I just draw anchor, and my head moves very little, if any, and maybe that's what helps keep me consistent. You know, I have looked at my string blur, like just out of curiosity, I've looked at it, and it doesn't really vary from shot to shot. It's probably roughly at the outside edge of my riser, but it's not like I look at it every shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, no, totally does. And your anchor point is there a special place that you anchor?
Well, I kind of use this part, kind of this web here. I get it underneath that jaw line.
Yeah.
My index finger is like on the bottom of my eye tooth.
Yeah.
So it's pretty solid. You know, it's definitely not a high anchor. It Like I said, that first ASA shooting in a traditional class, you couldn't string walk, so I had a pretty big gap
Yeah.
because of my anchor, but I just learned to deal with it. I tried going higher, and I just felt weak, for lack of a better term, weak, and got the shakes, and I'm like, I'll just deal with what works.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, especially if you have a very solid face, right? I mean, if your
Yeah,
head's not moving, if your head's not moving, you're anchoring here. You're actually
right.
anchoring. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it feels solid to me, and maybe I could figure out a high anchor if I wanted to put some effort into it, but I just don't really want to. So
So what's going on with you? I want to talk about two more things before I let you go, and that is hunting. I want to hear a little bit about hunting and what you're doing there, and then I want to talk to you about 3D and what you're planning for this season. So why don't we start with the 3D because that's sticking to target archery. Do you have plans for 3D this year? Same setup, same everything.
well, that's like I said, it's more than likely going to be the same bows, same limbs. I When we were there at NFA Indoor Nationals, I did buy like three of the 500 spine 3D HV shafts just to goof around with.
Yeah.
So I've been shooting them some. They seem to be shooting okay. And if I don't go with them, I'll just go with the ones I shot indoors. It's gonna be one of them two arrows, roughly the same poundage, same limbs. I don't have five different bows, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
that thing's well. So, like I said, the only thing I might change is arrows, but I haven't really decided yet. So,
Do you have dragon veins on those?
no, actually, I've got the 70 millimeter XS wings.
Okay. Yeah.
I've had, like I said, I've shot pretty good indoors with them, and that's all I've shot for 3D probably since 2019. I just like them. I was one of them guys. I shot feathers for the first several years, and then you get caught in a couple of rainstorms, and then you're looking for something different. Because my stuff, they say, well, if it's tuned right, rain won't hurt your feathers that much. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not always tuned right. Maybe it's tuned right, but then I get a bad release or something, and
Yeah.
that's just why I got away from feathers and got them.
Great advice. Great advice because yeah, if you're I think I have big 5-inch feathers on my indoor setup. I mean, and
Yeah, yeah,
it,
that's what I shot for indoors, 5-inch feathers. So
yeah, so it's good. And remind me again, you're at 40 pounds.
I'm not even at 40 pounds at the moment. I'm like 36, 37. I might bump it up a little bit for 3D, you know, or like I said, I'd like to even try to shoot some 50-meter stuff, and I might get it up.
Oh, that would be fun.
I've goofed around with it before. I've only shot in two tournaments, and neither of them went real great. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, you shoot decent at 20 yards. Why can't you shoot decent at 50? But it just magnifies every little error, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
15 is a hard game. So where do you plan on competing next? Where's your next
well, probably the first thing I'll try to hit is next month, Paris, Texas ASA shoot. I'm going to try to go to that if I can get off work. Kind of
Oh,
one of them deals. Work dependent, hopefully it works out because
yeah. Fingers crossed you can get time off. I'd love to see you
yes.
shoot and continue on the streak. So then so are you going to compete 3D this year though too? And are you going to go the Worlds in Tennessee?
I'm pretty sure I'll go. I kind of have to go. That's like only 3.5 hours from my house because I heard they're going to be moving it somewhere else, and
Oh, really?
depending. Yeah, I heard this is the last year for Tennessee for a while. Then it's going to be
Okay.
going somewhere else. That's what I heard. So
It was freaking hot there last year. It was not
yeah,
pleasant.
yeah. I was going to say it was hot, but it's hot where I live. So
Yeah.
I mean, you just sweat and it still beats working. So
Oh, absolutely. Hey, so you're a hunter?
yeah, I hunt. As far as bow hunting, I'll be honest with you, I probably use my compound as much as I use my recurve.
You
I just
cannot say that on this show. You can't say that.
well,
I have to
sorry.
I have to edit this part out.
I, I'm sorry.
That's
Just
okay.
I, I
Hey,
did.
you know what? Listen, I am seriously joking because if you can put meat in the freezer, you're ahead of the game, right? You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's awesome. And you
Well,
mostly whitetail. Are you on to turkey, spring turkey?
well, if same deal, kind of with turkey work. Depending, if I turkey hunt, I take the shotgun.
Yeah,
I should probably try it with a bow.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
definitely be a challenge. I've got a buddy that's killed a lot of them with a bow, but
Really?
I mean he's a little bit better hunter than me.
Yeah, that's when when I round that corner on a 3D range and it's a gobbler, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this one.
Yeah, well, I kind of used to be like too. You're kind of beat. You're kind of beat before you even draw the bow back.
Yeah, that's probably my problem. Maybe you just solved everything. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate
Mine,
that.
mine. Think positive.
I
You
know.
know.
Maybe that's what it is. Or you said two things now, so you're confusing me. You say think positive, and then you're like, I don't even think when I shoot.
I said I don't think much about my shot process.
Oh, okay.
I've had a buddy that's always pumping me for information and stuff, and I'm like, it's the same thing I told you last time you asked me. I just shoot for
Yeah.
the most part. You know.
Yeah. Well, whatever you do, whatever you're doing, please keep it up all year. It's been a pleasure to watch on Facebook, on Instagram. If there are people that want to go follow you, can they get you on Instagram someplace?
Yeah, Instagram, it's Jeff.Ogilvie.
Spell
Um,
that last name. Spell your last name.
um, Ogilvie.
Yeah. Jeff
And
Ogilvie.
like I said, I don't post a ton of stuff on Instagram, so it's not like you're going to get something new to look at every 3 days. But there's a little bit of stuff on there that's cool. I got some old videos of deer walking underneath stands, stuff like that. I got a cool video of a little buck during shotgun season one year. He walked right under the stand, snow on the ground. I mean, it's just much about being out there as killing something for me, you know.
Yeah, I say that too a lot because I'm not very successful.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I don't kill many big deer. You know, it's been quite a few years since I killed what I consider a nice one, but it's still fun to go, you know.
It is. It is. It's time away. It's quiet time, and
Yep,
down in nature. And when you do score big, so, it's great. The feeling. There's no feeling like it.
yep.
Harvest a deer, so it's awesome. Okay, so then on Facebook, you're under Jeff Ogilvie as well. So if anyone wants to meet you there or go interact with you there or bug you like I've been bugging you to get on a podcast, please go see Jeff on one of those. He'll try and make time, but again, he's a busy dude. So I know, but I appreciate you making time today. I really do. And thanks very much for everyone that was listening. If you and Jeff, again, thanks very much for you being on the show.
Like I said, I appreciate you having me. Sorry it took so long. It just seemed like there's always something going on. Yeah,
It was worth the wait. It was worth the wait because I love
I
how
appreciate it.
it's great having champions on the show. I appreciate it.
Don't make me blush, man. Come
Well,
on.
Darren Rogers told me that I had to get you in because you're a guy that flies under the radar, and
Darren's cool. I love Darren.
good.
Darren's a heck of a shot too. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If you say
He's
so.
a-
I've never seen him shoot good.
Um,
He
well,
said
I
he
appreciate
he
telling
pla-
you.
he blamed me. Wait a second. So he blamed me. He was on the show and then he went up to Rushmore and then he was like, Yeah, I shot crappy. Thanks, Mick.
Well, I stayed in the hotel room with him, and well, I didn't stay in the room with him, but we traveled together, me, him, and two of his buddies. And yeah, he didn't shoot what he was wanting to, but heck, we've all had shoots like that. I know I have. It's like I said, this year stuff just clicked a little bit. Stuff doesn't always click.
Yep. Stick to it. Just stick to it. Okay. Thanks again for being on the show. Appreciate everyone that stuck around. Thanks. And again, be positive, test negative. Take care, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.